Uh, Hello and welcome to Tuesday Lunch and Learn. I know that Beth has taught for the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to be doing some teaching that I am actually training on. So when I tell you that I am talking to myself as much as I am talking to you, there are 4 ears here listening. So living and learning and sharing with you just what I've garnered and that. So one of the things that I've really been kind of contemplating and thinking about is how do you approach people in a way, and we're talking about conversations that aren't just bleh. What do you do, without verbally throwing up? And also, how do you explain herbal alchemy in a very concise and natural way? So I am going through this process. We were fortunate enough to have a call with that Stephanie Miser and some other ambassadors put together for us with Bob Hillig. And then I decided to do a 6-week course with him and really trying to think about how do you just go back to the basics and approach people. So I'm going to share my screen with you because, and certainly I actually asked to say, can I take your principles as long as I don't share? So I remade them for us to use. And I want to point out that I will put this in our Fully Activate You site. And again, it will be under the training. This PDF will be available and I can do that today. I'll also put the link to the YouTube recording of this as well, so that you can find it in a really easy way. I do think it's important. It's been super helpful to me, and it was even helpful to go back a couple of weeks and go over this again and write it out. Journaling helps you as far as, and I tell people, I say that I journal and then I do it very sporadically. But when I really want to think and process and all of that, I will write things out, because looking at it and that motor movement always helps me really discern what all my thoughts are. It's hard when you're listening to music and you're thinking about stuff and you're cooking dinner and you're doing all of these other things of what do I really think about it and how do I really hone my skills? Well, writing it out is a way of documenting and honing in and really thinking about what you want to accomplish. So I am going to go into, I forgot to share my screen. Oh, I do have my screen shared. Okay, I'm going to go into and present this. So just Jen and Beth, one of you tell me if you can see this. So on full screen.
I can't see anything yet. I just see you.
Okay, so why isn't my screen sharing? I have screen share on Zoom. Let me look. Okay. It's not sharing.
Do you want to email it to me and I can be your presenter?
Let me see. Okay, let me do this. Is it sharing now? It says on my screen.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, let me just get to the full screen. Thank you, Beth. Okay, so first and foremost, I help. When somebody asks you in the elevator, when somebody you're on a plane with somebody, when somebody says, what do you do? I mean, it's hard because we think about, well, herbal alchemy is the process of transformation and is taking what is natural in nature and making it into, and I'm not mocking our company at all. It is a level of understanding. But what I'm saying is you have to have something that rolls off your tongue really easily and make sense. If we get too wordy, and I will get to the end of this, I can tell you I deleted 90% of what I started with. But in doing the introduction, speak to yourself, go back to the time, and I hadn't really even thought about this since I've joined Herbal Alchemy and was in pre-launch and that. I thought about where I was when I started Herbal Alchemy and not where I was when I started essentially direct sales, social selling, MLM, whatever you want to call it. And so not this company in particular, for those of you who were in another company before, and I'll share mine really quickly. At the time that direct sales was presented to me, I had recently got divorced. I had gotten into the work force after 18 years of being a stay-at-home mom. I was absolutely terrified. And for the first time, I looked at a number of different options, but because of my family dynamics and having 4 teenagers and a younger child that had some health issues, I really couldn't work a 8 to 5. I mean, I never knew when he was going to be sick. I had kids that also had emotional issues. So I was like, what can I do? Well, I did go into real estate. I have a commission-based job, but if you sell something 1 month doesn't, or 3 properties in 3 weeks, you might not sell another one for another month. So I was also terrified about my steady, static bills. And so I did say yes to direct sales with one goal in mind. Now, some people do it to pay for dance class, to pay for family vacation. I needed to know every single month without stress that I could make my house payment. I knew exactly what my house payment was. I shared it with people until I got to that level of income that I knew my house payment. And that to me was the goal and the objective. I will honestly tell you, once I got to that point and got some team members and I liked the company, I liked the products, they weren't clean, but there were times after that I just maintained it, didn't even tell anybody I did it for like 6 months. So go back and speak to yourself exactly at the time when you decided to say yes to direct sales, social selling, MLM. What problem were you looking to solve? And so really what we've always heard about this from amazing trainers like Beth and Jen and Samantha is you're looking for you. So speak to you and go back to this session in your life right before you started and think about what made you decide. For me, I was like, I could pay my house payment with this, and that would be the biggest expense that I worry about every month, because having 5 kids and trying to move them and whatever else, I was like, I cannot handle moving after everything else that had happened with us. So, oops, I went back to one. Now I'll go back. So what was your main problem that you were struggling with? What was the big thing that was missing in your life? And I did put down here some examples of products. Some people come to our company with, I just want clean product and that, but I want you to think a little bit deeper as to what were your business goals? What made you say yes to become an alchemist? You can have, and eventually at the end of this, I really want you to focus today on your business. I help. You can make a secondary product, I help, but really think about. So there's some, on the product side, there's some prompts to give you. You guys can read through this. I don't need to go over everything with it. But for the business thing, I was overwhelmed. The biggest thing I will put in my notes, as I put in all capital letters, terrified to pay my bills. I had not paid a single bill in 17 years. And so terrified was the word that I would describe to you. And so I was like, what's your basic needs? Food, place to live, that's it. So when I tell you that forefront to me, that terrified was I'm going to lose my home. And so that's where I started with, but you can go through, if you're a stay-at-home mom, I had to look up what SAHM, because I'm a dingbat. I don't abbreviate stuff, but that is true. So I'll give you guys some of that, just tell you what it is and go on from there. I don't know why this goes back to the first every time, even though I hit. So think about your brain problem. Now, I have a hard time identifying this, and I had to go through, how did these things make you feel? And I'm going to read my list and just be totally honest with you. The first time I wrote this out, like a loser, stupid, fearful of the future, terrified, panicked, didn't admit to myself or anyone else that I had no idea what I was doing. Go ahead. It doesn't help you at all if you're not honest with where you were and what your prompts were, because when you dial into that, you're also able to speak to other people who might be in your same decision, in your same situation. But if you go lightly, if you're like, oh, I just want, whatever, and if that's legitimately that you just want to pay for dance lessons, but think about how it would make you feel if you paid for dance lessons. If you wanted to start a vacation fund, think about how that would make you feel. And I am not a person that really gets into my feelings. And I'll share that with you too. I have a very regimented mind. So going into feelings is actually pretty difficult for me. I have to take some time, sit with it, marinate in it, and really think about how I feel. Now, let's focus on your personal growth. Right away, after you have those feelings, and some of this list, as mine, can be really negative, I want you to think where you are now because of this business. I will tell you, I'm smarter in my decisions. I'm more confident in my ability, and I am so much more aware of, and this is my personal thing, of God's goodness to me to provide things when I didn't even know at the time he was providing. One of the things I would tell you that I didn't have in my previous company is the sense of camaraderie. And I don't think, I roll my eyes only at myself. I am one of those girly girls that is, oh, I love my sisterhood. Let's just face it. I got to pay bills and I got to take care of family and I got to figure out how to get dinner done, work, pay bills, and take care of these kids. I don't have time for a lot of, and I'm older. That was super important to me when I was a stay-at-home mom at 30. I don't have that girlfriend thing, except for those women that you see here on these Tuesday lunch and learns. I have been in my other company and I still am there for over 12 years. And I will tell you, the friendships that I have within Herbal Alchemy are stronger, feed my soul more, and give me more than people I've worked with for 12 years. And that says a lot about the caliber of people who are here. So going on, it always goes back when I hit forward. So I don't know what I'm doing. So your personal growth, again, dial into, because when someone says something to you, it's going to be on your brain as far as how your life has improved, where your problem was, and where you've gotten to. How's your physical health better? How do these answers again make you feel? And I went through it. I said, better sleep, better relationships. I'm not crying all day. I spent about 4 years every day crying in my life. I am not crying anymore. And that makes a big, when I wrote that down, that almost made me want to cry. And again, I'm not a big crier. Freedom from the responsibility of other people's decisions and more willing to risk. That was one of the things that I wrote down as far as my life being better. And then just Galen, the solution. Don't make this product focus. Think about what was right for you before you start, right where you were right before you said yes. And with that problem in mind, what were you looking for? And really, it's come to me that I didn't realize, I think in my other business, it is so competitive. And the person sitting right next to you, even the person on your team, may very well be the person that you're competing against. And for me to let down my guard when I came into Herbal Alchemy and actually think that the same people in my business are not competing with me, was I didn't realize how that affected my edge and my willingness to hold back. And I just think that that's super important for you to start to think about what has come out of you and what has changed, so that you know what you can offer another person outside of product results. And that's super important. The transformation, I really want to spend a little bit of time talking about this, because I say now, I have a sense that I can learn about anything, regardless of what the subject is, if I work hard, study hard, and implement. That is something that has been really important to me. What do some of these problems, solving these problems, mean to me? And they mean that I have security and peace. And what would be different? How would I feel once I was there? Accomplished, satisfied, empowered. And so that's really important to think about when you're talking to someone, what it would be if you were talking and being able to help. So next week, I know that I just want you to think about these, because next week we're actually going to practice on writing, and I will share with you some of my I help statements that actually were not good. And I got too wordy with them and went through. But there's a point, because next week I'll share with you how you take this 8 pages of transformation and actually take them into I'm writing my I help statement. The I help statement really needs to be about, I said, and I was really concerned about when I came into direct sales, that I was talking to women that had gone through a divorce. I help women who have gone through a transformation or transition in their families find a path to restoration through financial freedom. That's it. I don't have to say anything about herbal alchemy. I don't have to say anything about that, rolls off my tongue. It's very natural. And I've practiced that now for about 3 weeks. And it just can, I actually tried it. I was on vacation this last week, and some of them were so long and wordy. I help women post-divorce that are wanting to pay their house payment and make no. Just write it all out. And then what I did is I took 3 different versions that I'll share with you and honed them down to just get to, I help women post-divorce with transformation to help their families on the path to restoration. Is there some place in your life, turn it into a question that you feel like you need to restore or transform because you've been through something traumatic for your family? That resonates with me. And it's become so much easier. I'm not like, my chest doesn't tighten up. I don't feel like it's insincere. It's true to me. And I really had to spend a little bit of time thinking about, well, what does transformation mean to me? Because that's just what's transition, being able to answer that. But I can give you clarity next week on what those mean to me, because actually I went through and thought, if someone asked me, are you in a transition period of your life? Are you looking for something new? What would you like to change or transform? Those are easy questions to ask after you say it. And so I want to make this as clear as I possibly can and take all the words, because I've actually looked at several. I Googled I help statements. I looked on different people's I help statements. And if they get too wordy, you're not just going to roll it out there. You're not going to, like I said, get into this elaborate over questions. And we'll discuss how your I help statement, by making it super consolidated and talking to you, will actually let you have the conversations next week of how you turn that into conversations. Because the more you can bond and identify and slow down to go faster, to get new customers, and more importantly, new business partners, the better you get at this, the better you'll get at being able to grow your business faster by slowing down. So I wanted to give you some things. If you have the opportunity and can journal these, if you don't want to use these worksheets, just write down some quick answers. I'd like next week, ideally, to be interactive, and we give, and I will put up, and I wanted to show you, I almost thought it was too much information today, but I will put up my 3 I help statements that were 4 or 5 lines that, as I initially just consolidated down, I will actually take a screenshot and upload it to this Canva presentation of what it looks like when I started just circling words that helped. And then I tried it on my husband. I tried it on one of my friends that's already a customer. I tried it on 2 gals when I was on vacation last week. Getting more clear and saying less with things that allow you to ask more questions of the other party allows you to really be able to draw people out, immediately. We don't want people Googling your business. We don't want people saying, oh, that's nice. You want to say it in a way that prompts a question, and we want to be able to help them or ask them, a follow-up question, always making it conversational and not about you. So that is what I have today. That's 22 minutes. And I wanted to be concise and stay on time, but I definitely want to get out of this. Definitely wanted to give you, like I said, I will put this in our Trello board. I will upload the PDF. I will put the YouTube link there, and we will see you next week for part 2 of iHealth statements. So Beth, Jen, do you have anything?
No, it was great. I love it.
That's great,
Very
Mary.
good. All righty. I will see you all next week, and have a good rest of your week. Thanks. Bye.